Hey everybody, let's talk a little bit of nutrition. So most people know you've got your macros, your carbs, they fuel your cells, it turns into glucose in your blood, fuels your cells, gets you going, gets you moving. You got your proteins. Those are the building blocks of muscles. That's what helps you build your muscles. And you've got fats, which helps with your nervous system, insulation, and protecting your organs. With carbs, you can go with like starchy vegetables, grains, rice. I guess that's technically a grain. Corn's a grain, things like that. Protein, your meats, eggs, certain combinations of nuts and seeds with grains and things like that will complete proteins. And then with your fat, you've got avocado, banana, walnuts, almonds, fish, things like that. Those are your macros, right? Super essential, need all three. What about your micros though? So yeah, you can get them through like fruits and vegetables. You get your calcium, your iron, things like that with your greens. You get a lot of vitamin C with the more vibrant colors. Did you know a lot of micros can be found in your seasonings? Yeah. That's right, even seasonings has those micros, and they have different micros than other foods. So that's part of why you hear people say like cinnamon helps with your metabolism. It's because of the micronutrients in it that can support the metabolism. Same with garlic. There's the micronutrients in it that supports those things. It's not that essential oils are some magical potion. It's that the micronutrients in them, when people use them, help support those particular parts of the body. So obviously the best source of micronutrients is straight from the foods themselves. You've got your fruits, your vegetables, go with your rainbow plate, vibrant colors, good variety, your seasonings, chili powder has really good properties, cinnamon has good properties, things like that. There's the micronutrients in those. And if all else fails, my brother has ARFID, we have all sorts of different things going on in our family. Multivitamins don't absorb as well, but they still work. So yeah, that's my little nutrition spiel for today. And remember, if you're not a big fan of a lot of seasonings, a little bit of garlic salt. That garlic has some good stuff in it. Helps your metabolism, helps your immune system. Your salt, sodium is actually super important for osmosis. Yes, getting too much can be just as bad as not enough, but in order for your hydration to really work, you need that sodium and those other electrolytes. Electrolytes are micronutrients. So you really just want to be careful that you're not only focusing on those macros. Yes, those macros are so important. That's actually what keeps you alive. But the things that keeps everything functioning like it should, those are your micros. So try and see what variety you can add to your diet. See what affordable multivitamins there are available to you. And like I said, multivitamins, they're not great. The man-made supplements, the processed stuff just doesn't absorb as well, but they still help. And of course, if you're taking iron, you also want to take vitamin C. And if you are getting a lot of calcium, you definitely want to make sure you're watching your iron. Those things all need to balance out. So just like your macros are super important for your day-to-day functioning, building your muscle and your brain systems and everything like that, your micros will just keep everything else running way more smoothly. That's why they put things like evening primrose oil in Pamprin and Midol. It's not because it's a magical oil that's going to fix everything. The micronutrients in it help women during those cycles kind of not be as affected when they're losing all of that iron and the other stuff during that time. So just, don't diss on the essential oils too quick. No, they are not a magic potion. They're not a magic potion, but there is something to it. Those micronutrients. And of course, with the oils, you also want to be super careful. Some of them are toxic. Do not drink eucalyptus, ever. That one's topical only. Follow the directions very closely. With these Concentrated tinctures, you're going to get a concentration of other stuff, so you always want to follow it very closely, but there is something to it. No, it's not a magic potion. Yes, you need to follow the directions, but there's something to it. So yeah, that's my little spiel on my micronutrients. That's why you'll see me showing off all the seasonings that I put in my videos. It's because those have the nutritional properties to them. That's why essential oils seem to work the way that they work, is those little micronutrients help with mood stabilizing and things like that. That's why St. John's wort works. No, it's not a perfect solution. If you have mental health issues, it's like a Band-Aid. It's not going to help too much, but finding that balance and making sure it's not just something going on within yourself in that way is going to help you and your doctors figure out other stuff along the line. So micronutrients are so much more important than people really realize. So, like I said, rainbow plate, lots of variety. If you need to take supplements, that's okay. That's fine. Just remember and be mindful that they're not going to absorb quite as well. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.